Episode 2, Robert Owen's Visionary Legacy. By the Grumpy Veteran Project. In the heart of Scotland during the Industrial Revolution, the mills of New Lanark hummed with life, producing some of the finest textiles of the age. But unlike so many other factory towns where workers endured relentless hardship, New Lanark became a beacon of hope, a living experiment in how business and humanity could thrive together. This is the story of Robert Owen, a man of vision, compassion, and determination. At a time when factory owners prioritized profits over people, Owen dared to believe that a better way was possible. His progressive measures at New Lanark transformed the lives of his workers, proving that business success and social responsibility could not only coexist, but flourish together. The Industrial Revolution brought unprecedented economic growth to Britain, but it came at a high human cost. Factories, driven by steam power and unregulated ambition, were harsh and unforgiving. Children worked long hours in perilous conditions. Families lived in squalor, and education was a luxury few could afford. But in New Lanark, Robert Owen set out to rewrite that narrative. He believed that the key to a successful business was not exploitation but empowerment, giving workers and their families the tools they needed to thrive. Education, fair wages, and better living conditions were not just ideals for Owen. They were essential components of a thriving community. In this episode of the Industrial Patriot, we'll explore how Robert Owen's groundbreaking reforms at New Lanark challenged the status quo of industrial labor, creating a model of social responsibility that resonates to this day. From reducing child labor and improving education to building entire communities, Owen's legacy reminds us that true progress is built on the foundation of human dignity. The Industrial Revolution was a time of unprecedented change. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, steam power and mechanization transformed Britain into the workshop of the world. Textile mills, fueled by rivers and driven by technological advances, became the beating heart of this new economy. But this rapid growth came at a cost. For many workers, the revolution was less an era of progress and more a period of relentless toil. Children as young as 6 labored for long hours in dangerous conditions, while their families lived in overcrowded, unsanitary housing. Education, health, and happiness were sacrificed in the name of industrial profit. Amid this challenging landscape, a young man from Wales named Robert Owen was beginning his journey. Born in 1771 to a modest family, Owen displayed remarkable ambition and intelligence from an early age. By the time he was 10, he had read extensively, absorbing ideas that would later shape his vision of a better society. At the age of 19, Owen moved to Manchester, the epicenter of Britain's industrial boom. There, he managed a cotton mill and quickly earned a reputation for his innovative management style. But it wasn't just his efficiency that set him apart, it was his growing belief that industry could serve a higher purpose. In 1799, an extraordinary opportunity arose. Owen purchased the New Lanark Mills in Scotland, a massive complex employing over 2,000 workers, including 500 children. The mills were profitable but notorious for their harsh working conditions. For Owen, this was his chance to prove that industry could operate differently. Owen envisioned a workplace that wasn't just about production, but about community. He believed that by improving the lives of his workers, he could create a more efficient, loyal, and prosperous workforce. His goal was to build a model industrial village where fairness, education, and dignity were woven into the fabric of daily life. Robert Owen's arrival at New Lanark marked the beginning of an experiment that would challenge the status quo of industrial labor, blending profitability with compassion. In the next segment, we'll see how his vision took shape and transformed lives. Working conditions. Owen reduced working hours, eliminating child labor for those under 10, and introducing mandatory education for children. Housing and sanitation construction of clean, affordable housing, with proper sanitation facilities for workers and their families. Education creation of the first infant school in Britain, and emphasis on lifelong learning for workers. Cooperative stores, establishment of shops where workers could purchase high-quality goods at reasonable prices, ensuring fair access to necessities. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . When Robert Owen introduced his reforms at New Lanark, the reaction from his peers in the business world was swift and critical. Many regarded his ideas as dangerously idealistic, a utopian fantasy that would bankrupt the mills and undermine industrial progress. Child labor, low wages, and long hours were considered the only way to maintain profitability in a fiercely competitive market. To them, Owen's approach of shorter hours, better wages, and community investment seemed destined to fail, but Owen's detractors were wrong. Rather than seeing declines in productivity, New Lanark thrived. Worker turnover dropped, absenteeism decreased, and productivity soared. With healthier, better educated workers, the mills became more efficient, and profits steadily grew. While other mills struggled with unrest and high worker attrition, New Lanark's sense of community created a stable, loyal workforce, one that took pride in its work and its village. Owen didn't just take the profits and pocket them. Instead, he reinvested in the community, further improving living conditions, expanding education, and maintaining the mills themselves. This reinvestment created a virtuous cycle. As the community flourished, so did the business. New Lanark wasn't just an experiment, it was a challenge to the status quo. Where other mills relied on exploitation, Owen proved that compassion and profitability could go hand in hand. His success raised uncomfortable questions for other industrialists, forcing them to reconsider the human cost of their practices. Robert Owen faced immense skepticism, but his results spoke louder than his critics. By proving that worker welfare and profitability could coexist, he not only transformed New Lanark, but also laid the groundwork for a new kind of industrial enterprise, one where progress wasn't built on the backs of the suffering, but on the foundation of shared prosperity. Robert Owen's vision wasn't just a fleeting experiment, it became a foundation for some of the most impactful social and economic movements of the modern era. His belief in fairness, education, and community welfare inspired ideas that have transcended centuries and borders. Owen's cooperative store at New Lanark was one of the first examples of a business built to serve its community, rather than exploit it. This idea became the cornerstone of the global cooperative movement, which now empowers millions around the world by promoting shared ownership and democratic decision-making. Today, cooperatives remain a vital force for good, enabling communities to thrive while preserving the values of equity and fairness that Owen championed. Robert Owen's insistence on humane working conditions laid the groundwork for labor rights advocacy. His call to reduce working hours, eliminate child labor, and promote education influenced labor laws that reshaped industrial societies. The success of New Lanark proved that ethical practices didn't have to come at the expense of profitability. Owen's integrated approach to community welfare and business efficiency became a prototype for modern companies striving to balance corporate success with social impact. In a world still grappling with inequality and corporate excess, Owen's principles offer a timeless blueprint for reform. His ideas challenge us to rethink the role of businesses, not just as profit generators but as stewards of societal progress. Robert Owen's life was a testament to the power of vision and compassion. He showed the world that industry could be a force for good, where profit and progress were not built on exploitation, but on empowerment. His legacy challenges us to continue building communities where dignity, fairness, and opportunity flourish. Join us next time as we explore the story of another industrial pioneer who dared to balance humanity with industry.